Good day everyone. Today we shall be discussing on lung volumes and capacity. And so I would like you to like, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel before the starting of this class as Gallant Medical. Thank you. So today we are discussing on lung volumes and capacities. And the content for today's class, we shall be discussing on the introduction to lung volumes, the types of lung volumes, introduction to lung capacities, the types of lung capacities, measurement of lung capacities, and other subtopics under lung volumes and capacities. We shall be discussing on the clinical correlates. I would like to tell you this: for a good medical student writing an exam or anyone preparing to write an exam, I would advise you to watch this video, and when you're writing your exam, make sure that your points are highlighted according to this video. So I would like you to share among your friends and tell them to watch it so they will to gain more knowledge from it. So starting from the introduction to lung volumes. The lung volumes is the volume of air breathed by an individual, and each of these volumes represents the volume of air present in the lungs under a specified static condition. And so the types of lung volumes. The lung volumes are of four types, namely the tidal volume, the inspiratory reserve volume, the expiratory reserve volume, and the residual volume. And this is a clear picture of all the lung volumes and capacities with each of the volume stated here. And we shall be discussing it responsively from the first one, which is the tidal volume. The tidal volume is the volume of air breathed in and out of the lungs during a normal quiet breathing. This is a picture of the lung volume and capacities, and the yellow arrow is pointing towards the tidal volume. It said that the tidal volume is the volume of air breathed in and out of the lungs during a normal quiet breathing. That point where the tidal volume is the normal volume of air that can be breathed during a normal quiet breathing, not forcefully. Normal, you are breathing in, breathing out normally. That's the tidal volume, and the volume for that is about 0.5 liter, which is also equal to 500 milliliter. So the second one is the inspiratory reserve volume. The inspiratory reserve volume is the additional volume of air that can be inspired forcefully after a normal quiet inspiration, and the value for that is about 3.0 liter, which is equal to 3000 milliliter. This is a picture of the lung volume and capacities, and the yellow arrow pointing towards the inspiratory reserve volume. They say that it is the additional volume of air that can be breathed forcefully after a normal quiet inspiration. From the starting point of inspiratory reserve volume down to up is the additional volume of air. Now I said it that the tidal volume is the volume of air when you are breathing in, breathing out normally. Now trying to breathe in more air forcefully is called the inspiratory reserve volume. That volume at that point is called the inspiratory reserve volume. Trying to breathe in more volume of air, that's the inspiratory reserve volume. The additional volume of air that can be inspired forcefully, that's the inspiratory reserve volume. And I know you understand it like that. So the third one is the expiratory reserve volume. It is the additional volume of air that can be expired out forcefully after a normal breathing. It's additional volume of air that can be expired out of the lungs forcefully after a normal quiet breathing. This is a picture showing the lung volume and capacity with the yellow arrow pointing towards the expiratory reserve volume. It said that the expiratory reserve volume is the additional volume of air that can be expired forcefully after a normal quiet breathing. Similar to that inspiratory reserve volume, which is above, the expiratory reserve volume is below. It said is the additional volume of air that can be expired out forcefully after a normal quiet breathing. That is, you are breathing in, breathing out. You breathe in, you breathe out normally. You are trying to force more air out of the lungs. That volume of air that is expired out of the lungs at that moment is called the expiratory reserve volume. and the value for the expiratory reserve volume, the volume for that is about 1.1 liter, which is also equals to 1100 milliliter. The fourth one is the residual volume. The residual volume is the volume of air remaining in the lungs even after forceful expiration. This is a picture showing the residual volume and the yellow arrow pointing towards it. It said it's the additional volume of air that is remaining in the lungs after forceful expiration. Normally, the lungs cannot be emptied completely even by forceful expiration. So some quantity of air always remains in the lungs even after forced expiration, and this helps to maintain the contour of the lungs. So it's not possible for you to expire all the air in your lungs out. It's not possible. The one that is remained, the additional one that is remained in the lungs is called the residual volume. I know you understand that. And the value for that is about 1.2 liter, which is also equals to 1200 milliliter. That's all for the types of lung volumes, and now we're discussing on the lung capacities. The introduction to lung capacity. What is lung capacity? The lung capacity are a combination of two or more lung volumes. And the types of lung volumes, types of lung capacities. Lung capacities are of four types, namely the inspiratory capacity, the vital capacity, the functional residual capacity, and the total lung capacity. We shall be discussing it responsibly one after the other. The first one is the inspiratory capacity. It is the maximum volume of air that is or can be inspired even after normal tidal expiration. It includes the tidal volume and the inspiratory reserve volume. Here is a picture of it showing the lung capacity and the yellow arrow pointing towards the inspiratory capacity. It said that inspiratory capacity is the maximum volume of air that is inspired after normal expiration. That is the maximum volume of air that can be expired after normal tidal expiration. That is, look at that yellow arrow pointing towards inspiratory capacity. The point where the inspiratory capacity is below is also equal to the tidal volume below. So, according to this, the inspiratory capacity is the maximum volume of air that can be inspired. From that point where the inspiratory capacity is below to the point where it is above, that's the air inspired. So they say it's the maximum volume of air that is inspired even after normal tidal expiration. So I know you understand this looking at this picture. And it includes the tidal volume, which is 0.5 liter, and inspiratory reserve volume, which is 3 liter. And its normal value is equal to 3.5 liter. That is additional the tidal volume and the inspiratory reserve volume. The second one is the vital capacity. The vital capacity, it is a maximum volume of air that can be expelled out of the lungs forcefully after a deep inspiration. The vital capacity is maximum volume of air that can be expired out of the lungs forcefully after a deep inspiration. Look at the tidal volume. It is starting from inspiratory reserve volume to the expiratory reserve volume below, with yellow arrow pointing towards the vital capacity. According to this, you can deduce that it is starting from the residual volume, that is the volume of air that remains in the lungs even after forceful expiration. That's why the vital capacity is starting up to the inspiratory reserve volume. So, according to this, we can deduce it that the vital capacity is the maximum volume of air that can be expired out forcefully after you breathe in anywhere. You stop at that point. So one that can be expired out forcefully is called the vital capacity. And this includes the tidal volume, which is about 0.5 liter, the expiratory reserve volume, which is about 3 liter, and the expiratory reserve volume is about 1.1 liter. And its normal value for that is 4.6 liter. That is addition of the tidal volume, the expiratory reserve volume, and the expiratory reserve volume. As for this vital capacity, I would like to give you an acronym of this, which is called VC. My VC always wear tie. According to this, you can see that VC is equals to tie. Let's use that code. My VC always wear tie. VC is equals to tie. The VC means vital capacity. The tie in that tie, the T means tidal volume. The I means expiratory reserve volume, and E means expiratory reserve volume. That's a clear acronym for that vital capacity for you not to be able to forget that. So going to the next one is the functional residual capacity. The functional residual capacity is the volume of air remaining in the lungs after a normal tidal expiration. I know you know that the functional residual capacity is the one remaining in the lungs after normal tidal expiration. That is, after you've expired normally, you are breathing in, breathing out normally. After you've expired normally, the one that is remaining in the lungs, the volume of air that is remaining in the lungs after you've expired normally, the volume of air that is remaining in the lungs is called the functional residual capacity. And it includes the respiratory residual volume and the expiratory reserve volume. The residual volume is about 1.2 liter and the expiratory reserve volume is about 1.1 liter, which addition of it gives the functional residual capacity of about 2.3 liter. And the last one on the lung capacity is the total lung capacity, TLC. Is the volume of air present in the lungs after a deep inspiration. Look at this. Look at the yellow arrow pointing towards the total lung capacity. It said that is the volume of air present in the lungs after a deep inspiration. A deep inspiration means that is at the top of this diagram. The total lung capacity at the top of this diagram. That's the expiratory limit. So from that point downstairs, it means that after you've inspired out forcefully, inspired of the air out forcefully, the volume of air that is now remaining in the lungs at that time, you've inspired forcefully, the volume of air that is remaining in the lungs at that time is called the total lung capacity. You've inspired, you've taken in air at your maximum. The volume of air at the lungs at that time is called the total lung capacity. And it includes the tidal volume, it includes all the volume in the lungs, which is tidal volume of about 0.5 liter, the expiratory reserve volume of about 3.0 liter, the expiratory reserve volume of about 1.1 liter, and the residual volume of about 1.2 liter. So its normal value for that is 5.8 liter. So the measurement of the lung volumes and capacity. The instrument used in measuring lung volumes is generally known as spirometer. The instrument used in measuring lung volumes and capacity is generally known as spirometer. Spirometer is a method used to measure lung volumes and capacity. Spirometer is the main instrument used for this, that is in measuring the lung volumes and capacity. And I would like you to note that lung volumes that include the residual volume cannot be measured by a spirometer. Note that lung volumes that include residual volume cannot be measured by a spirometer. Also, lung capacity that includes the residual volume, which are the total lung capacity and the functional residual capacity, cannot be measured by spirometer since they include the residual volume. And so these two capacity, the total lung capacity and the functional residual capacity, can only be measured by nitrogen washout method or helium dilution technique. So I can just say that out of the four capacity, which is the inspiratory capacity, the vital capacity, functional residual capacity, and the total lung capacity, the inspiratory capacity and the vital capacity can be measured by spirometer, and the total lung capacity and functional residual capacity can be measured by nitrogen washout method or helium dilution technique. And for the lung volumes, the spirometer can be used to measure everything except for the residual volume. So I hope you get that. Going to next talk, we shall be discussing on additional topics which are the importance of functional residual capacity and the factors affecting vital capacity. The importance of functional residual capacity. We have here continuous exchange of gases. The functional residual capacity of about 2.3 liter, it represents the amount of air that remains in the lungs most of the time. Even after forceful expiration, about 1.2 liter of air still remain in the lungs. This helps in the continuous exchange of gases in the lungs, and thereby the concentration of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood remain constant. So this helps in the continuous exchange of gases. The second point, which is the breathing hold. The breathing hold is made possible due to the functional residual capacity, that is the air that is usually in the lungs. The third one is the dilution of toxic inhaled gases. The dilution of toxic inhaled gases occur due to the presence of 2.3 liter of air in the lungs most of the time. The third one, which is the smooth breathing. Without functional residual capacity, the lungs would have collapsed at the end of each expiration, and respiration will have to require much breathing effort. So, because of this functional residual capacity, there is smooth breathing and free breathing. The next one we shall be discussing is the factors affecting vital capacity. The first one is the size of the thoracic cavity. The vital capacity is more in male than in female because of the large chest size and more muscle power in male than in female. The second point is the age. In old age, the vital capacity is decreased due to decrease in the elasticity of the lungs. I want you to note that very well. Vital capacity is decreased due to the decrease in the elasticity of the lungs. The third one is the gravity. The vital capacity is more in standing position than in sitting and lying position because of increase in size of the thoracic cavity when standing. The fourth one is a pregnancy. In pregnancy, vital capacity is reduced due to pushing up of the diaphragm and decreased size of the thoracic cavity. The fifth one is in ascites, that is accumulation of fluid in the abdominal cavity. That the vital capacity is reduced due to pushing up of the diaphragm and decreased size of the thoracic cavity in ascites. So that's all for the lung volumes and lung capacity. And so we shall be discussing on the clinical correlates. Like I've been saying, is clinical correlates, they are the diseases or medical terms that are related to all this, all that we have been talking about. The clinical application, the applied physiology, applied anatomy, to all what we have been talking about that's related to medicine. So all what we have spoken now, like disease and all of that, they are called the clinical correlates. The first one is the restrictive respiratory disease, and the second one is the obstructive respiratory disease. We shall be discussing these two responsively. Starting from the first one. The first one, the restrictive respiratory disease, RRD. Restrictive respiratory disease is the abdominal respiratory condition that is characterized by difficulty in inspiration. That is in my myasthenia gravis, spinal cord disease. Yeah, this and etc. This disease are examples of disease that causes respiratory restrictive respiratory disease. They are the diseases so that causes the difficulty in inspiration. The second one is the obstructive respiratory disease. The obstructive respiratory disease is the abdominal respiratory condition characterized by difficulty in expiration. That example of this disease, or example of this obstructive respiratory disease, the asthma, severe cough, and cold. So I want you to note all these clinical correlates, most especially when you're writing any exam. You've written all your points very well. Make sure that you always write a medical application of it, also known as clinical correlates. Thank you for listening, and thank you. So today we've come to the end of this class, and please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as Gallant Medical. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the class. That's all for today. See the next class, and I'd like you to continue watching our video for more knowledge. Thank you, and bye.